The lesson.
Oh yeah.
And then, so obviously, once you win the nationals, you go on to the worlds. You know,
Yeah.
and you mentioned it's kicked in when you were in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And you know, you did that 3 years in a row, so 03, 04, and 05.
Yeah.
Now, in 03, when you made the worlds, from memory, I think in 03 and maybe 04, you had some issues with skipping.
Yeah, man, I fucking, you know, I'm a young dude over in London, you know, doing my thing. I had new needle boxes and shit that I won all this stuff from the company. I'm bring this with me in, you know, hard cases and bits and pieces. So I broke some needles, and you know, yeah, some of my records were skipping, but to be honest, like man, like it ain't nothing, man. I don't really give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like it happened, but it happens at a lot of. I've done some big gigs, man. You know what I mean? And some of them have come off like a boss, man. Some of them the records skipped. But one of the things I don't apologise for is I use records. If I use Serato, I use it on absolute mode. So my shit will skip if it fucking skips. You know what I mean? That's what I'm all about, man, you know? And it makes it more natural, man, you know? So yeah, man, it didn't come off that great that year, but I come back in 05. I was happy with my shit.
05, you came fifth. You placed fifth in the.
We came a respectable place. I said to my homeboy, man, if I can ever make it into the top 5 in the world in this shit, I can walk away happy, man. Yeah, you know. And in 05, we did that again in London. Me and my homeboy flew over to Amsterdam. Again, we're doing our thing, man. My homeboy looked at me and said, "You know, you just fucking did it, right?" I said, "What are you fucking talking about?" He goes, "You come 5th. That's top 5, man." I'm like, that's it. All right, we're done. We did what we came to do. Now, let's go and sort of
do something else.
Do something else,
things.
man. You know, see if we can capitalize on this a little bit, man. You know what I mean?
So that was because you know myself and I'm sure a lot of other people, because you were crushing it so hard, and then poof, it was done. So I wasn't sure whether maybe. You know, does DMC Australia say, "Hey, look, man, you've won 3 in a row"?
Nah, man, you can go for as long as you want.
Yeah.
My thing was, I wasn't going to go for 4. My thing was like, if I'm doing this, I got to go for 5, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to do this for another 2 years. I was starting to get more and more gigs and bigger gigs. Some of the local crews around here were starting to blow up, and I was doing some big shows with some of those dudes, and just trying to do something different. And I learned pretty much in that time that, you know, it was really about turntablism in the beginning, you know.
Yeah.
And then I'd get booked for a gig, and we wouldn't know. I didn't know how to rock a crowd. You know what I mean? We was so, oh man, I'll show them my skills and they'll flip, but it ain't like that. You know what I mean? So that was really around the time I started to learn to use what we had done in the turntable scene and bring it to a show where we can play in front of fucking 5,000-10,000 people, and it's not going to go over their head, man.
Yeah.
You know? So that was a big learning curve of the DMC as well, man. Was
gone from like DMC battles to more performing at concerts,
performing at shows, and not coming off like a fucking nerd, man.
Yeah. No, I think you did real good at that, because like I said, like one of the biggest things that influenced me about your set's like, it's a club set, but with all the tricks in it.
That's
so it's musical as shit. Like you can bop your head to it, you can dance to it, you can groove to it.
Yeah.
But if you want, you can sit there still and just watch and be amazed still.
Look, I'm a bit of a believer in the classics. So there are classics for a fucking good reason, man. And, you know, use them right, respect them. And, you know, they're never going to die. You know, they're never going to get old. So
that's right.
I used to use all that, you know, classic crowd rock and shit.
Yeah.
And, you know, we'd bring them out at the big outdoor events that used to happen back then and all that sort of shit, and try to put a little bit of that DMC turntablism in there as well that people knew me for. And there was a big learning curve to go from that to that, because, you know, you can't just get up there and do a 6-minute DMC routine in front of a big crowd, man. They don't give a fuck. You know?
It's a different audience. It'll go over their head.
Yeah. And look, later now down the track, I get that. You know what I mean? Because the nerd side of DMC is what's turned people off. It's why it's not as big as it used to be. it's something people don't get anymore, you know what I mean? And I'm one of them, you know what I mean? So it's like, I understand why people don't
get into it as
that
much.
shit.
Yeah.
So, you know, I can relate. So that's how I roll as well, man, eh?
The lesson.
27. Oh, yeah.